if you really zone in on kind of woke progressivism, critical theory, couldn't you say that it's starting to take shape as its own religion? And in
Sure,
fact, that
sure.
religion is also being sponsored by the administrative state, and religion and state are supposed to be separate. So there's maybe some problems that could arise from that. Maybe look at the first half of that first. Do you think that it's becoming a religion?
Well, it certainly has the characteristics of one. So we referred a few moments ago to that human inclination to seek meaning. And, religion is one of the consequences of that programming, if I can put it that way. And so it makes sense that in a world in which people are not religious, that they would seek meaning in a religious way that's
The
secular.
God-shaped hole, they call it.
The God-shaped
Yeah.
hole is what they're trying to fill. I mean, that's one way to put it. And so this also leads to the transhumanist inclination, right? To be God and to make the world in your own image as its
Mm-hmm.
God. That provides you with meaning, I suppose. But on the separation of church and state, I mean, sure, but I don't think that argument is going to work in a courtroom because it doesn't have those other characteristics that courts are used to looking for in religions, which is a belief in some kind of a God.
Ah,
That's the one thing it's missing. So it has all these other characteristics, uh, you know, a adherence to a code, a group, identifiable group, and so on and so forth.
I see.
But I'm not sure it's going to fit the description for other
Okay,
reasons.
so who do you think, just in your opinion, who do you think the God would be in that religion? Who do you think people would point to as the God?
Well, I see that's a very interesting question. It's not going to be a particular figure. It's going to be an idea, and the idea is the the idea of the ideology itself, the idea of victimhood, the idea of the power struggle, the idea, if you like, if you want to make this connection between critical theory and the transhumanist impulse, then the God becomes you. The God becomes the human group. That it's not, and it's not just transgenderism. I mean, there's a whole lot of examples of how this is coming to the fore. Another example: there's lots of proposals floating around out there, apparently, about engineering the climate. Seeding clouds or blocking the sun or doing other things. I mean, really, you are going to take the climate into your own hands. You are so wise and so knowledgeable that you're going to mess with the Earth climate system. That shows a profound lack of value and faith in what exists and what was provided
And a
naturally.
hubris. So as you said, it's the God is
Absolutely.
you. The God is the self. That totally
Yes.
makes sense if
Yeah.
you look at it that way. And that was what I had in my head as I was asking you that question. So I think that that's what it
Right.
is. And but it's interesting as well because in the whole paradigm of the victim mentality, it's almost like as if that is a way to kind of flip that triangle again, to say,
Mm-hmm.
I have been
Mm-hmm.
victimized by all of these things throughout my life, and the only way for me to push through that is for me to become God.
Sure. And at the top of the pyramid.
Right.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Right. Wow, really interesting stuff here, Bruce. So, okay. So, how did all of these ideas come out of academia? How did they get into the mainstream culture? What happened?
There's an old joke sometimes attributed to Henry Kissinger, but also to several other people. And so who knows exactly who said it first. But the joke goes, university politics is so vicious precisely because there's so little at stake. Now, that's funny if it's true. And for a long time, it appeared to be true. All these crazy academics arguing about this and that, getting into conflict, and it doesn't really matter. It's like counting angels in the head of a pin. It doesn't make a difference to the real world. That turns out to be wrong. And these things escaped and are embedded into generations of graduates now who are running the show. They're running the government, they're running the media, they're running corporations, they're in HR departments, they're certainly at universities still, new generations of scholars, and they're in public schools. They have taken over. And they think this is the way things are supposed to work.